Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Today we'll be looking at the Cobra AVAC or AVAC. Released in 1986, this figure certainly fits the idea of Cobra having a more futuristic look than their G.I. Joe counterparts, who are based more in reality. Gah! Okay, well, sometimes a little more based in reality. All his body parts are completely original, meaning that none of them used molds for previously made figures. This was common in toys from 1983 to 86, by some considered to be the golden age of G.I. Joe, because most figures were unique, and these were the characters most used in the Sunbow cartoon. Why am I talking about unique body parts? Well, when G.I. Joe started out, Hasbro didn't know if it was gonna be a success. After all, the action figure market had been pretty much dominated by Mego, and later by Kenner, who were responsible for making the 4-inch size popular. So to keep costs low, as producing molds for action figures was an expensive thing to do, they used the same body parts on lots of different figures. When the toys became a success, more money was invested so each figure would be more unique and have better articulation, adding swivel elbow joints and later the head ball joint. Now, I freaking love this figure! It looks cool, futuristic, and it fits in well with the Cobra Legions. The only bad things I can really say about it are minor. His helmet design makes it look like he constantly has a sad expression on his quote-unquote face, and his silver paint applications are too easily scratched or even rubbed off. Being one of the nameless, faceless Cobra troops, there's really not much to say about him personality-wise. He really doesn't have one. Hell, even the file card spends most of its time talking about the Firebat, that's the jet they pilot, and not AVAC himself. AVAC is one of those best of the best of the best type troopers. They are picked from the Air Viper Corps to pilot the more dangerous and difficult to fly Firebats. The Firebat itself is described as being basically a rocket with wings. It has crude controls, and according to the file card, it doesn't even have an ejection system. Even though the figure does come with a freaking parachute! Nope, no way to eject at all. Pretend you didn't see that, okay? While the cartoon never really followed the information on the file cards, this is one of those occasions where even the toy itself contradicts it. Oh, and believe me, this is not the first or the last time this kind of thing happens. Or maybe Cobra just hands new pilots a parachute and then forget to mention that there's no actual eject button. This is the first of many, many examples of Cobra not having the best record when it comes to worker safety. Then again, you can't really be a ruthless terrorist organization if you have to spend your time enforcing health and safety regulations instead of, trying to destroy the free world. Plus, who the hell is gonna audit them? The only people who deal with Cobra are G.I. Joes, and they're too busy shooting at them to fine them for not wearing safety goggles, or hard hats, or, well, whatever. Yes, I know. The only reason that we can see the pilot eject here is because, well, it's the cartoon, and nobody was ever allowed to die on screen in the cartoon. I said nobody ever died! Now, you don't see AVACs very much in the cartoon. Sure, Firebats show up, but often without the correct pilot. It is, however, noteworthy that AVAC and the Firebat show up in the cartoon well before the rest of the 1986 lineup appear, though the plane itself has a different color. The best explanation for this might be that this toy was originally meant to come out earlier, but it was pushed back and recolored. Or maybe the cartoon company was stuck with earlier design sketches for the Firebat jet. Now, on to the comic. As far as I could tell, AVAC only shows up in the comic in one freaking issue, number 54 if you're wondering, and he is simply referred to as Firebat Pilot. And he's missing all of the silver that's supposed to be on his flight suit. In the same issue, Slipstream and his Conquest jet are introduced, and they proceed to have a tense dogfight. Firebat Pilot only gets a single line of dialogue, but a lot more is said by the dogfight itself and the running narration courtesy of Slipstream. After a tense battle, it appears the Firebat got the upper hand, humiliating the new Joe pilot. No, of course not. It was all just a ruse to get a man inside the Cobra base. So what does the abbreviation AVAC mean anyway? Well, nobody really knew back in the day. Plenty of people took educated guesses, coming up with Air Viper Advanced Core or Air Viper Astronautical Core and many others. The official word didn't come down until 2008. 22 frickin' years after the figure came out, when a second version was finally released. The file card for that figure explains the acronym as Air Viper Advanced Class. Well, that's about it. A nice action figure, but nothing remarkable character-wise. Nothing interesting left to say, really. Oh wait! There's one tiny accessory I didn't mention. The freaking Terror Drome! This is one of my all-time favorite toys. Lots of compartments, lots of places for figures to stand or sit, big-ass guns, a working launch bay. What's not to love? It's the biggest toy Cobra ever got, and only the USS Flag, the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, or the Defiant Complex, that's the space shuttle with the launch pad, are bigger. There isn't anything bad I can say about it, really. Basically, it is made of awesome. It rules. It's amazing. It's a toy that was never released in my country. Why, God, why? I was a good boy. Oh. Cut, for the love of God, go to commercial. Do something. I feel better now. It took me about 15 years after this toy was actually released, but I finally managed to acquire one. It's the centerpiece of my collection, and I've never looked back. Yeah, I kinda like this toy if you hadn't noticed yet. Now, as is usual for pretty much everything in the toy line, the cartoon and the comic differ a lot in their respective uses of the Terror Drome. First, a quick word about the cartoon. For our favorite animated snakes, it serves as their headquarters, and as such is a hell of a lot bigger in scale than the toy. Also, I don't think I've ever actually seen it launch a fire bat. A Terror Drome is smaller in the comic, and there are lots of them. They serve as launch bases for the fire bat, albeit with huge freaking guns attached to them. In a nod to the toy line, the Terror Dromes come in prefab pieces that are easily and quickly put together. Huh. I wonder what they do with all the giant plastic trees and the twist ties. Cobra sells these bases to anybody who wants them, mostly evil dictators and the like. Of course, they have an ulterior motive for selling them, which I won't delve into now. So there you have it. Cool figure, bitch and jet, and the king of all Cobra playsets. All in one awesome package. Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!